Hey Brickmaniacs, welcome back to another Designer Studio episode. Today we're taking a look at the F-16. We got Dan back in studio to talk a little bit more about this build. I will say though, so this was a really cool moment for Brickmania because we obviously have talked a lot about expanded printing capabilities in the past. With this build in particular, we actually offered the option to customize your tail artwork to the location of your choice within reason. I think it was just all National Guard units basically. But then for our retail stores, we were able to then create custom tail artwork for the locations that they're then situated in. So if you go into a Brickmania retail store looking for one of these F-16s, odds are it will have the markings of the location nearest you, which I think was a really cool endeavor. And it wasn't easy by any means, but it was really cool to see it happen.
Not at all. So when we did the Seahawk, I think it was the MH-60R. We decided we're going to let people pick their unit because it was just a couple of tiles that were like, we'll make a drop-down menu and we'll swap out the 6 pieces or whatever it ends up being, maybe 4 to 6 pieces that needed to be swapped. This is a little different.
This is a whole tail plus some.
Yeah, there's 2 markings on the back of the aircraft.
I can stop it.
I'll just pick it up here. There's 2 markings on the back of the aircraft. And some of them are the same, but it's almost unique per location. You know, like the Air Force said, hey, you can take this square footage right here and customize it to your location, and the tail, of course. So these 2 guys are printed per kit, and then the tail. So when these are coming out of production, they don't even have tails.
Yeah, right.
There's no tails until somebody orders it. We don't have like a stockpile of tails.
Because it quite literally comes hot off the press.
Yeah, but they actually will set aside some time each week to print these unique per order. And this is great because we're actually shipping out the first batches this week. It's been a challenge. We've done some. We're pushing the envelope with our printing capabilities. Also pushing, that means the instructions have to be more complicated. All these 3D parts, all that stuff, it's forcing us to sort of upgrade our capacity. And we are a part of the Lego community, the aftermarket community. We don't use like any official tools of Lego.
Oh, sure.
So it's all based, this is all a community-based living, breathing organism. This sort of like AFOL, adult fan of Lego network around the world, creates the tools that we use. We support that network, but it's a very we'll work on it when we have our spare time because it's always like these are like super hardcore enthusiasts like us using their passion to make these tools happen, and they're not always progressing at the same time. So it's a real shoehorn to be able to like use the tools. Make sure all the tools work together with each other. So the F-16, man, woo! And the Panzer IV, yeah, these are all, we're pushing the envelope, but it's also been a real challenge behind the scenes to get you guys the final product that you're used to. You want to see that instructions, there have to be as good or better than the official instructions. We're trying to push the envelope all the time.
Well, it's not easy to take something that, especially in this scale, this size of kit, and then try to break it down in a way that is easier for some. I mean, obviously, we have those difficulty ratings for a reason, right? I mean, pay attention to those because it does correlate with just how complex the model is. But at the same time, you as a designer and the team in general, you strive to be able to have, quote unquote, your average Joe be able to put this thing together.
We don't want people frustrated. You don't want, there's kids, and I'm guilty of this, making things that are so complicated. I've been doing this for almost 50 years. So I take it for granted that people are going to figure it out, but that's not okay. That's really, when I start seeing feedback like the instructions weren't clear or this didn't work, it wasn't, I take that to heart. So I try to make the next thing better and take the extra time to make sure that everything is as presentable as it should be, plus you can actually make it. That's the hardest part, is like the customer, maybe this is your first Brickmania model. It might take you extra long amount of time to do it, but the instructions should be done well enough that you don't have to be a 40-year
vet to be able to get it done.
Lego battle veteran to So
yeah, no, I think that's definitely important because I mean, part of owning a kit is having that experience as well. Otherwise, like you've said in the past, you just go buy a model that's already built and done for you and put it on your shelf. And if that's what you enjoy, great. But there's a lot of people that also enjoy the process of bringing it all together. And I think that that's kind of what the kits like these offer. So F-16 specifically, obviously the redesign gave you a chance to be able to really upgrade the missiles on this. We decided to go no add-on pack. This thing is fully loaded and ready to rock. Where did you kind of start with bringing this new one together?
Well, I looked at our previous F-16 and great model, but it was designed to be a low price point, simple model from the get-go. It was intentional that was going to be a target. So I started with a few parts of that, and I was like, what are the things that work
Sure.
that we can translate that just to save myself a little bit of time, not having to reinvent the wheel completely. I ended up only using a couple of elements. I mean, really minor elements out of the original kit. And I'm like, all right, well, this is a complete rebuild. And the wing design, it started with just the wing, and then it was like, well, the whole thing now.
Sure.
Is redesigned. Some of it's for printing purposes. Some of it's just like, well, we have new parts, we can do this better. And some of it's just like, we need this to be sturdy.
Right. So you'll see a significant evolution if you've got the two of them next to each other.
And the previous one was pretty much, there's just a few printed pieces. We only had I think one printer and 5 guys that would take shifts rotating around the clock printing parts. And it's a little different now. We have multiple machines. So we can instead of having stickers made, which we have infinite capacity for, but the UV printing is a completely different animal. Those machines.
Right.
We have how many? We could trade in our printers for a fleet of Teslas. Not that we would need that, but where are we going to go?
I know what you mean.
I'm going to drive my 2-block store.
It's definitely a different level of investment for them, for sure, in both time and skill as well. So
yeah, let me just pick this thing up.
Showcase
a little bit of updating. So the previous one was armed. There's still we filled up all the hard points on this, but featured on here are 4 of these AMRAAM missiles. This is a complete air-to-air package. And I stuck to an air-to-air package because I wanted to be able to make a future aircraft model, if not just an add-on pack, that would allow you to swap out all of the air-to-airs for all air-to-ground.
Oh, okay.
So because there's certain things like jammer or targeting pods, things like that you would have to swap out, and having a mixed package didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense. What are you going to do, half and half?
Yeah. So we'll make either another full aircraft reconfigured, or we'll just make an add-on pack.
Sure.
That you can swap out. Add-on packs are kind of dumb because you're going to end up with all these missiles that I paid for an extra add-on pack. I might as well just buy another airplane because I can't show off my.
Now I've got to try to sell the missiles.
Yeah. So 4 AMRAAMs, which are all custom made, mostly Lego brick, but the fins and nose cones are ours. And then the Sidewinders, of course. So the Sidewinder, I think, premiered on the F-14.
Yeah.
So we have the full-on missile package. We do have fuel tanks, external fuel tanks. With printing, we have the fuel filler caps this time on them. There is some printing pretty much all over this thing.
The nose is really done up too. That's a significant upgrade from the last one, and then obviously the tail.
Yeah, you've got the bird slicers. So they aren't actually bird slicers, but people call them the bird slicers. It's part of the a friend or foe identification system.
Okay.
The little antennas up on the front. But they're the sensors, the cockpit is all completely printed
Got
up.
that awesome ejection seat artwork, artwork.
Yeah, even the heads-up display is printed, which on the instructions, the first go around, I didn't put the printing. Oh, that was a printed piece? Oh, yeah. So, we're just, wrapping up the production stages of this. This has just been a fun model.
Yeah.
It's super sturdy. I mean, you could play with this thing. It's super swooshable. You might lose a missile if you play hard enough, because the hard points they're not connected that well, just because of the way the angles are on the wings. But I even put an arrestor hook on here. Little known fact: Air Force jets have arrestor hooks on them. They can't land on carriers. It's not that strong of an arrestor hook. But, that is for emergency landing purposes. Though.
Sure.
So there's a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that either.
Yeah. It's either that or you have to put a drogue chute in it. So.
Oh, sure.
This is being I think it's a Block 30. This is a standard, this is the one that would be most representative of the United States Air Force, and then by extension, National Guard units. There are, I don't know, hundreds, if not thousands of these things made. And there's boneyards full of them. I mean, the airframes only have so many hours before they have to retire them because they become unsafe. So thousands of this model were made. We are going to roll forward into later editions of F-16s.
Cool.
So since
definitely worthy.
The U.S. Air Force isn't buying them anymore because they're replacing their whole fleet with F-35s eventually. But there are other air forces around the world that are fully equipped with F-16s.
Yes.
The assembly lines are still rolling out F-16s. They are so much more advanced than the F-16s.
Well, and then not to mention that there's probably quite a few Brickmaniacs whose military career was spent in or around these.
Yeah, either flying them or servicing them or supporting them. So yeah, this is going to be something that we're going to keep going. We will do some international planes to follow.
Cool.
Different. This is the standard. This is what you're going to see 9 out of 10 if you're at an American air show or you just happen to see an F-16 flying around doing whatever F-16s do. It's going to probably, chances are it's this two-tone gray or a variation of it. Our Minnesota National Guard has this. It says, I believe they say Minnesota on the top.
Cool.
I've never seen that on any others. I don't know how they got a pass.
Approval? Maybe they just did it.
Yeah, probably. So that's that's just Minnesota for you.
What can we say?
Ask forgiveness, not permission.
Exactly. Good policy in my mind. So, but there you have it, the updated F-16 with that awesome customization ability for the thing. Oh yeah, let's talk about the figure real quick because we didn't get to showcase that.
Yeah, a major step up for the figure. This guy doesn't have the oxygen mask on, but
is it in the cockpit? Well, fair enough. I was going to say you can tell that it's supposed to be integrated.
I believe that it has a brand new oxygen mask. It's a custom Lego or custom Brickmania part. Not a custom. It's custom for your Lego system.
Exactly. Well, and that helmet, obviously, with the printing and everything integrated there.
Brand new helmet. I believe that we're premiering this helmet on this kit.
With this kit, cool.
So there's every pushing the envelope. It's a common theme, and here we are again, something new. 3D parts. Is this the first time we did the AMRAMs, or did we have them on something else? I think the first time we've done the AMRAMs too. So every kit is offering something a little bit, just a little bit. We're building up our repertoire of missiles, and someday we're just going to do. Oh, Dan doesn't have time to make kits, so we're just going to release all the missiles.
There you go.
This week's new release.
There you go. I'm sure people wouldn't complain, especially with the options to be able to go back and upgrade. But at the same time, with the development time and everything that goes into it, I think we understand why that having something included with a kit like that. That's just the way the production capabilities stand as they are.
Well, and we're set up every week to do a kit, and we have a little bit of we have a whole team that are just raring to go, and everybody gets their what they want to contribute, what they can contribute, and if that's adding a new missile or a new helmet or some new printing capability, we're doing it. This is like a whole new level of organization that Brickmania has to do. We get an order and then we print to order. So that could be a thing of the future. This is kind of an experiment that ultimately we could almost get to the point where we can make you in your uniform with your rank and all that stuff.
You never know.
It's a possibility. We're working up to it. But, knock on wood, we can achieve that.
You never know. You just got to wait and see and stay tuned and see what the future holds. So, but there you have it. Now, that is the Designer Studio episode for the F-16 update. Thank you, Dan, for joining me, and thank you very much for watching.